Hello YouTube, it's the man from Rune back again with another Dagor Dagorath Edain hero submod video. It's been a long time, and I mentioned in a comment I was waiting for the game to get an update, and lo and behold, the game has received a massive update. And in this update is the completion, more or less, of the Harad faction, which in previous updates was very much incomplete. It had no music, it did not have any first stage, and I wouldn't say it was not very well optimized, but here we are. Let's explore this newest faction, or newest complete faction in the game. We'll load up our test map real quick. Okay. Now, let's go over the powers first. So we got Raise the Standard. This is essentially a rallying call, or a war chant equivalent. 50% damage for 20 seconds. Desert Land. This is the same as the Mordor Tier 1 Tainted Land ability. It gives 25% armor damage. And then Harad has a heal, but if you do use it, the units lose 25% speed and 25% experience gain for 30 seconds. Next is we got Fire Volley. This is a much better version of Arrow Volley. It sets the ground on fire and uses like fire arrows. They do much more damage than Arrow Volley, like if you use it on Rangers or from Lothlorien. Runic Allegiance. This allows you to use this unlocks the rune, or the units from Rune, and those are basically your best units before first stage, and even after first stage they're pretty good too. So yeah, it unlocks those, and it unlocks upgrades for 4 of your heroes, which I will go over later. Gift from Mordor. So you summon a cart and then you decommission at the fort for 4k resources. Pretty self-explanatory. Call of the Mahout. This unlocks a special hero at your fortress, and the hero is very powerful. I'll go over him later. Corroded Land. Basically the reverse of most other terrain abilities, where instead of giving you some sort of buff, it actually just harms the enemy units that are on it, so useful. And then this is our first stage power. Army of the past stages unlocks ancient Easterling units from the Thargelion, and the heroes are actually, I'll just go over later. But yeah, this is the new first stage power that's added. You get elite Easterling units and some Muma kills as well, and of course ancient Easterling heroes. Giants to the south summons 3 kind of like mountain giants, but they can't throw rocks. They can only go in melee, and they have a different model, so yeah, southern giants, I guess. Harad also gets a weather ability, so for 90 seconds, all enemy units use 33% damage. And then Scorching Sun, it's basically like Sunflare from Vanilla Rise of the Witch King, if you've ever played it. So let's buy some powers. Actually, I'll just use my train real quick. And I'll get all the powers. And I guess I'll just briefly show them off too. There's the Corroded Land. There's the Arrow Volley. Sunflare. Our giant the giant summon. See, they only get stomp. Are you gonna attack it? Alright. Oh. And we got our desert land, our rallying call, and then this guy. So the next thing I'll go over, I guess, is the fortress. So we got our standard fortress, our pre-standard fortress upgrades here. Banners to reduce the cost of heroes and builders, and it provides leadership to nearby units. We got another banner, but this provides healing instead to nearby heroes and units. This is basically the same as the fire arrow upgrade as you saw in Mordor, except to use blasting munitions instead. Blasting munitions, as I'll go over later, is a unique upgrade for Harad. Harad Tuss. So enemies by the fortress take damage. Reinforced walls, aka stonework. And then the Harad fortress gets this unique upgrade called the Mumakil Totem. So units by the fortress are camouflaged and unlocks a unique power. Or you can frighten enemies that come by, or that come near the fortress. Alright, so we'll briefly go through the buildings and then I'll get to the heroes. So obviously we got our farm. We're gonna get our Haradrim Palace. This is basically one of our military buildings. It allows specifically for Haradrim units. All these units are from Harad or Harad. We got the Runic encampment, which, like I said, is unlocked by the Runic and Legion's power. This unlocks our elite units from Rune and Khan. Got the Tavern, so we can build, of course, the Corsairs of Umbar and then the Corsair Archers. We got the stable for specific Haradrim, Harad only cavalry. We got our workshop, so we can build ballistas. Got our Mumakil pins, so we can build, of course, the Mumakils and upgrade them. Another cool thing about Harad is the armory. So we get 2 unique upgrades in this faction, and the armory does not need to be upgraded. It just comes out with all the technology available to buy, so you pay more upfront. So that's why it's $12.50. Yeah. We got obviously our statue, provides leadership. I believe it just gives 25% armor damage. We got a well. And the last building, of course, or well, one of our last buildings is the Arrow Tower. And just show off the expansions real quick. This works like the Mordor Gatewatchers expansion, where it debuffs enemy units that come nearby. And then, of course, we got our Arrow Tower and Ballista expansion. All right. Let's go over the heroes. We'll start from least expensive to most expensive. So Salim. He's a hybrid hero, so he comes with both a sword and a bow. If he switches to the sword, he gains 50% armor. He gets this ability unlocked immediately, Poisoned Arrow. It just is a single fire weapon that poisons a target for, I think, 30 seconds, I'm not sure. And does damage over time, obviously. And then at level 5, he grants Scavenger to basically all your units that are not the Corsairs, because as you'll see shortly, the Corsairs have their own source of Scavenger. So yeah, this affects Haradrim units and Easterling units and Thargelian units, which are your first stage Easterling units. And it, of course, affects monsters, and it also affects your Mumakil units. Next is Fuiner. He's a Corsair hero, so he grants leadership to Corsair units and ships. So your 2 Corsair units from the inn, he grants them 50% damage, and they gain resources for defeating enemies. At level 2, he gains this ability called Despoil, basically reduce the output of a farm specifically by 90%. Level 4, he gets a Blade Master, 50% armor, damage, and speed, and then he also deals knockback and splash damage. At level 7, he gets the special Firebomb ability. He throws a Firebomb, and it does a significant amount of damage, and it has a bit of an AoE effect too. And then at level 10, he places down a mine. You can detonate the mine manually by destroying it once it's placed down, or it'll explode on a timer, but you do gotta be careful because the blast damage is it affects everyone, so you'll damage your own units as well. Next hero is Salem. A little bit different than the mortar version. She gets an Athelas at level 1, as well as stealth. So she can't move, or she can move, but she can't attack or be attacked or use abilities. Level 3, she gets a passive where allied heroes next to her are stealthed. At level 5, she gets a Blade Master. She gains triple damage. And then at level 10, she gains a very powerful Assassinate ability. So she does a massive amount of damage to her hero, and it paralyzes them for a long time. So basically, if you get a level 10, you can assassinate a hero, and there's like almost nothing they can do.
Require my blades.
So next hero is Fasimba. Excuse me.
As you wish.
Oh, also I forgot to mention, Fasimba also gains a permanent damage buff from the Runic Allegiance power. I believe he gains 100 damage.
For the tribes.
Okay, so Fasimba, he's also another hybrid hero. He can switch between a sword and a bow. For his leadership, so Haradrim units, so units from the Haradrim Palace and the stables, and Thargelian units, so units from your first stage, gain 35% damage and 15% speed. At level 2, he gains a paralyzing shot or cripple shot. And then if you have the sword equipped and you're at level 6, he gains a Blade Master, double damage, 50% armor, and he deals splash damage. And then he gets, at level 9, he summons 6 battalions of your elite Haradrim archers, fully upgraded with the blasting arrows. So, very good hero. Next hero is Scytha.
Welcome aboard. Apologies, Your Majesty. Too long. The fate is not big enough.
Another hybrid hero. He comes with a bow and a sword. His leadership only affects Corsair units. They gain 50% armor, 50% experience gain, and they also gain fear resistance. At level 2, he gains 50% speed for 30 seconds. If you have the bow equipped, at level 4 he gains explosive shot. Kind of similar to Fuiner's level 7. It's a single fire projectile, and it does a lot of damage. And it does has AoE too. And then lastly, if he has a sword equipped and he gets level 7, he deals massive damage to a building and disables it.
Stopping for, eh? Push on. Sleep when you're dead.
Next, we have Valathmir. He is the only rune-specific hero, so his leadership affects units from the runic encampment, and it affects your first stage units, since they're also Easterlings technically. So they gain 35% armor and damage, 50% experience gain, and they also gain fear resistance. And then at level 5, he provides a 15% discount towards all unit upgrades. At level 2, he gains weapon toggle, because he has 2 weapons. He gains the sword, which he has already, and it deals knockback and splash damage, and then he also gets blades.
My blades await.
Guess I'll move him over here.
We shall rule these lands.
And then he also gets these special poison blades.
This way. There.
The ring has been dropped.
And these blades are specifically good against heroes because they deal damage over time, and I believe they have a damage scaler against heroes too. And then if you have these special blades equipped, you get Cripple Strike. And then at level 5 he gets a mount. And at level 10 he gets a very powerful ability called Call to War. So he grants himself and nearby Easterling units, so from the runic encampment and the first stage, 75% damage, armor, crush deceleration, and knockback resistance.
For the tribes.
Ready. Their land will be ours.
What a pleasant surprise.
So Suladon. He has 2 Planters of abilities. He grants leadership to specifically Haradrim units and Thargalian units. He gains 35%. He grants 35% armor, 50% experience gain, and fear resistance. He gains a mount. At level 2, he gains a self buff, 75% armor for 30 seconds. At level 4, he grants XP to all the units in the faction. This actually affects all units, so Corsairs, Easterling units, Haradrim units, and Thargalian units. At level 7, he gets a different version of Valathmir's level 10. This only affects Haradrim units and Thargalian units. They gain 75% armor and damage, but 0% crush deceleration and no knockback resistance. And then lastly, his ultimate power. I guess I'll show it off actually. I should probably show off these abilities as I go over them. For some of them.
Clear the battlefield.
Because I think this ability is better off being, what's it called? It's better to show off the ability than just talk about this one, because it's pretty cool, I think. And while we're waiting for him to move, I'm gonna I'll recruit some units real quick just to show off what's his name's ability.
We make war for Khan in the east. We go to war.
I'm gonna just show off his level 10 real quick. Alright, then back to Suladon, showing off his level 10 ability. It's pretty cool. It's like a Fellwind and a mini Sunflare.
Come and get them! No retreat.
Okay.
We shall rule these lands.
Okay, and the last hero we can recruit from our fortress is Muhad.
I will serve the forces.
So he does not affect units, he affects heroes. His leadership is heroes of Harad, so all heroes gain 35% armor, damage, 35% armor, 35% damage. They also gain resistance to knockback, fear, and terror.
Trust that. Scratch. Hasn't made you.
Ready.
At level 2, he gains this special horn ability, where I believe it's him. Yeah, it's him and then Haradrim units specifically. They gain 25% speed and knockback resistance. Level 3, he gains a summon.
Go forward.
I guess I'll show it off.
You. Yeah.
Oh.
Calm yourself.
Let me show off.
They will
Let me interject here real quick. I'm gonna show off Suladon's level
Fight.
7 because it's pretty cool. I think too.
This is where we hold them. This is where we fight. This is where they die.
Oh, that also.
And these
Okay.
shields fall.
I guess this text is wrong. It's also affecting the Easterling units.
We shall rule these.
So back to Mahad. At level 3, he gains a summon, These summons around him. These assassins. They're specifically good against heroes, and they get a Blade Master at level 1, where they gain 25% armor and 75% damage for 3 seconds. At level 5, he gains a Blade Master, 50% armor, and deals double damage for 40 seconds. At level 7, he gains invulnerability for 30 seconds, specifically him. At level 10, he gains kind of similar to the ability I showed off in the Mortar video for Suladon. Unfortunately, this can't be used while this ability is active, so we'll have to wait for that to turn off, or we'll have to wait for that to wear off before we can show it. And while we're waiting for that, I'm going to build the first stage fortress. Oh, and I guess I'll go over the upgrades real quick, because we're going to go over the units next. Actually, is it off? Okay, yeah. Let me show off his level 10. It's way better than the Suladon ability, because I believe there's 6 here, 6 movement kill, and I believe they just deal more damage too. Okay, so for upgrades, 3 standard upgrades: banner carrier, forge blades, heavy armor, and then we got these 2 unique arrow upgrades that are specific only to Harad. So blasting arrows, basically fire arrows, but they deal splash damage. Yes, it's a fire arrow upgrade that deals splash damage. And then you have barbed arrows, which is specifically for these Easterling archers. These, I believe, add slash and specialist damage to the runic archers. So, yeah. Slash is just like additional, like if a swordsman hits you, and special is if a spearman or a spear thrower hits you. It's the damage type they deal. So, it makes their damage more varied, and makes them more well-rounded. So, let's put these heroes to the side real quick and go over the units. We'll start with the Corsair units first. This is only 2. Of course, we got the everyone's favorite basic Corsairs of Umbar. They get their firebomb toggle. They can get a banner carrier, and they have pillage when they use their swords. So whenever they deal damage to buildings, they steal money. It does not work with firebombs. And then, of course, with the firebombs, they can use bombard, so you can just throw it constantly at an area. And also, very good for dealing with spam. And then we got the archers. They can get the blasting arrows and the banner carrier. So the way I've seen it is basically your weakest archers are your Haradrim archers. Then it goes the Corsair archers. Then it goes the Rangers, which I'll go over shortly, and then these Easterling archers. These guys are very good because you can sit them next to Scytha, where they gain 50% armor and experience gain. And then if you have what's his name next to them, they also gain 50% damage, whereas the Haradrim ones, they only get 35% from Fasimba and Suladon. So for the Haradrim Palace units, we've got our swordsmen. They can get forge blades, heavy armor, and banner carriers, standard upgrades, and then they get a march formation. So more speed and less damage, I believe. Yeah, more speed, less damage. Harad pikemen, standard upgrades, and then they get a spear wall formation, so more damage, less speed, or more armor, less speed and damage. But the formation does become smaller, so not the best for trying to ward off cav. We got the Haradrim archers. Unlike the Corsair archers, they can get heavy armor, so that's a caveat if you go for them. And then spear throwers, kind of cool. It's the only kind of a unique unit. You only get 5 in a battalion, but they get a formation where they get more damage and less armor, and they can't they only can receive a banner carrier. Next is the Harad Sentry. This is just your tier 2 regular pikemen. They have more health than these Haradrim pikemen. I believe they have the same formation too. Okay, so different formation in that they form a circle, but I believe it is the same modifier. They lose they gain armor, 50% armor, lose 25% damage, 40% speed. And then the South Watchers. These are your tier 2 swordsmen. They get a block formation, so more armor, less speed, and then they get standard upgrades. Let me just upgrade all these guys real quick. Okay, yeah, so pretty good unit. They have a lot of health, and yeah, and they got a good formation, so it's good there with Suladon giving them even more armor. And then lastly, for the Haradrim units, we get these Rangers, which are elite archers. If they stand still, and if they're in trees, they are passively stealthed. They gain a formation, which grants them even more damage, but lowers their armor. And they get blasting arrows, so yeah. These units are very good. They have quite a lot of range, and they shoot really fast, which makes them, or which further improves their combat effectiveness. We'll go over the runic units next. So we got the Variogs. They get standard upgrades. The Easterling units. These Easterling units have significantly more health than your Haradrim and Corsair units do, and they deal more damage as of expected since they are elites. They gain a Blade Master level 2. Yeah, the Easterling pikemen. They get standard upgrades, and then they get their own special shield wall formation. So they get 60% armor, minus 60% speed. They gain immunity to being crushed. So that's useful. I'm trying to think of something. I guess like if a Balrog walked over them, he wouldn't be able to do that. He wouldn't be able to crush them. And then what's it called? Trampling enemies will be stopped immediately. And then we got these Easterling archers. They get the special barbed arrow upgrade, which I believe gives them more slash and specialist damage. So it kind of rounds out their damage. They do pierce by default, and then they get 2 other damage types. And then of course standard upgrades. And then cataphracts. These guys are pretty nuts. This is your one of your 2 elite cavalry units. They're capped to 3. They have insane trample, and they're quite fast. And yeah, standard upgrades. Yeah, these guys are pretty fast. So next we'll go over the Haradrim cavalry units. So you get some basic cav units with these Haradrim Lancers, which I believe are the same as vanilla. They gain a wedge formation, more damage, less armor, and standard upgrades. At tier 2, you get these Black Serpent Guards, which have more health than these guys. And your usual upgrades. But they get a different formation where they gain armor instead of damage. They actually lose damage. So there's that. And then lastly, you get these mounted archers. So these guys can get blasting arrows, which is pretty nuts, considering that the blasting arrows deal splash damage, so you can kind of run around and be very annoying with that.
We must crush the West.
They don't have as much health though, I believe. 1100 when level 5. That's actually quite a bit. It's more than these guys, and these guys are melee cav.
We must crush the West.
And then we got the ballista. Just a standard ballista, but you got Corsairs. And then we got the Mumakil pen. You got this war paint, which increases Mumakil armor. Of course, we got our Mumakils. Or Mumakil, sorry. They come out at level 2. They get this charge attack, which does so much damage. I think it is the most damaging trample in the game. Maybe Balrogs do more. I forgot. They can get fire arrows for the guys that are sitting up top in the carriage up here. And then, of course, get the war paint, increasing their armor. I believe that is it for all the 3rd age stuff. So let's go over to the 1st age stuff now. So this is the Haradrim Fortress. We'll go over the upgrades real quick. So each of these upgrades unlocks as you level up the fortress naturally. Another thing they changed in this update is all the 1st stage fortresses are now level 5, and they all have the same production modifiers. So every 1st stage building is level 5 now. So for this, the first upgrade, it decreased the cost of Mumakil and cavalry units, and then it also grants a global leadership for your Mumakil units, which are the ones, of course, from the Mumakil pen, and you get the special Mumakil unit at level when you upgrade this fortress to level 5. So yeah, at level 3, they upgrades the fortress with fire arrows, and then the leadership. It's additional. It's going to be the same, or it's going to be the same leadership added on top. Level 4, similar to the Tusks, damage units that are nearby the fortress, and then stonework, so armor upgrade at level 5, and then of course the leadership from Mumakil units. Let's go over the heroes. We got our 2 1st stage heroes. We got notably Ulfang the Black and his son Uldor. So Ulfang, I guess a little lore here is during the Battle of Unnumbered Tears, for those of you who never read the Silmarillion, he betrayed the, I guess this is a bit of a spoiler, he betrayed the Edain and the Eldar, so the men and the elves who were fighting in there against Morgoth, he betrayed them. He was secretly in league with Morgoth. And yeah, so his abilities for the most part are kind of just about disabling enemy units. So at level 1, he does have a leadership that affects your units. They gain immunity to fear and terror. And then enemy units, so enemy units lose 30% vision and range, so it's particularly good against any sort of ranged faction, or ranged unit, I mean. At level 4, he gains the Mouth of Sauron's Descent ability, where it can make enemy units fight each other. At level 6, he gains the similar ability, I think it's Mouth of Sauron's level 8, where target enemy heroes lose 50% armor. At level 8, he sets the ground on fire, and it does a high amount of damage, and damage over time. At level 8, he summons the Elite Easterling Guards, which I covered in my Mordor video. I'll show them off real quick. Yeah. These guys were buffed recently, I believe, so they're a lot better now. I think they have more health, and then of course they have their Blade Master ability, where they deal additional damage against different types of enemies. Okay. So let's go over Uldor now. So he's again yet another hybrid hero. I think that's like the 5th one. 1, 3. Oh, okay, 4th one. 4th hybrid hero this faction has. Sword and bow. For his leadership, he also grants immunity to fear and terror, but he also grants 50% armor, specifically against hero and hero range damage. So if a hero hits your unit, and they damage heroic, they will take 50% less damage, same as if they use hero range damage. He gains a mount at level 5, a cripple shot at level 8, which is similar to Simba's, I believe. But it's I think it does more damage and it's lasts a lot longer. In the sword mode, at level 8, he gains a Blade Master. It does he gains 225% damage and 35% armor. And then he gets this cool Sandstorm ability at level 10. So basically you can attach this to any building, I believe, and if an enemy comes near it, it acts kind of like the tornado does, where they'll just kind of be, yeah, they'll just be kind of knocked away and take damage if they go near it.
Make ready for war. Keep together.
Right, the units next for this first stage units. So, the Thargelian Swordsman, and I guess the archers too. If you saw the Mordor video, these are both included in the Summon, Betrayers of the Quendi, but they've been changed specifically to be you know, permanent units for this faction. So they've been adjusted likewise, so that level 1 they gain this passive ability, this leadership. So they gain, the swordsmen gain 100% armor specifically against flame damage, and 50% armor specifically against pierce damage. So basically 50% stronger against archers and a lot stronger with anything that does flame damage. So dragons and any ability that deals with flames. Level 5 they gain an armor upgrade, and at level 8 they get a Blade Master, 50% armor damage for 20 seconds. Archers, very similar. They gain 100% armor against flame damage, but they gain 50% damage against slash damage too. So swordsman. Level 5 they gain an armor upgrade, and at level 8 they gain Blade Master, 20% the damage and 20% range for 20 seconds. We got the Thargelian Chariot, which I believe I went over in the Mordor video, has been moved to this faction because it's a Thargelian unit, therefore it's a first stage unit and it belongs here. So yeah, just a neat battle wagon, war chariot-esque unit, and it also has a well, so it can be kind of useful. So when you get the Forts level 4, you unlock these special Thargelian cavalry. These units are insane. They have a lot of health, 1800. They get a formation. They gain armor upgrade at level 7. They gain a special charge attack, 50% damage, 25% speed, and 50% trample deceleration. Yeah. When I was testing the beta patch, these units were exceptionally strong. And then the last unit in the faction is the Thargelian Moonkill. So it also has a charge attack. It gains an armor upgrade level 5. Also, this I should point out that this unit has much more health than the standard Mumak. This creature has 9,050 health, whereas the Thargelian Mumak has 10,000 health. And then at level 8, it gains a debuff where all enemies, so this affects heroes too and monsters, lose 20% armor at 35 or recharge their abilities 35% slower. So if you can manage to get this thing at level 8, that's quite a powerful debuff, can't lie. And then I guess we'll go over the Valar, or not Valar per se, but the special legendary hero that this faction summons. So instead of Morgoth or in Calagon, the Harad gets the Ancient Mumakil. So he's been repurposed specifically for Harad. And let me just get some Mumakils out real quick, because that's kind of the game plan with him, as you'll see when I go over his abilities. Alright, so let's summon him. He summons darkness, just like when you summon Morgoth, so all your units will get a buff. Alright, so the Ancient Mumakil. 50k health and 3k damage, and if you use his legendary stance, he does 5250 damage. So he gets a unique charge attack. This is different than the other two Mumakil's charge attacks. This does significantly more damage. He also does significantly more damage with his trample just by walking through people, or through units. His leadership is, so for your units, nearby allied heroes and units, they gain experience 20% faster. But he also grants a global leadership, so every Mumakil unit you have gains 100% armor, 25% damage. And this stacks with the global leadership from the fortress, so if you combine that, that's 10, 20, 30, 40. So that's 140% armor on all your Mumakil units that have almost all of them have 10k health each. Also, he has a debuff, so enemy units and heroes lose 30% damage. So obviously, the most ideal scenario is you get all the Mumaks you can, the Thargalian and the Third Age ones, and then you just go with them, and then you just run towards the enemy base with them, rampaging as you go through, and finish them off. Because he has two abilities here: Ruin, disable an enemy building, and it takes a lot of damage, and you get into an earthquake. So yeah, you can just absolutely destroy a person's base with these so easily. And then he also gets a cripple, which does a lot of damage. Oh, I see my stone giant, or my south giants actually destroy the other fort. Let's send these guys over there. Yeah, look at the extra damage they do. That's just two we're hitting him. Now let me show you his cripple real quick. He's just walking through these heroes too. So that is insane damage. That Sauron has a crazy armor set. Or has a very strong armor set. So the fact that he always one-tapped him is pretty nuts. So that means he would one-shot most like heroes. Okay. So yes. So yeah. Very cool. I'm a big fan of it. Kind of making Mumaks their own, like, I guess, kind of niche. And that's cool. And then I guess the last thing I have to go over is the ring hero for the faction. Gonna wait for those guys to go get the ring real quick, and I'll show off the trample for these guys. Okay. Oh, also, I guess I forgot to mention this. So Scytha and Fasimba both get upgraded armor and upgraded bows. So they deal more damage and they gain more armor. And then specifically for Suladan and Fuaner, they gain permanent armor increase. So, yes. Alright. Last thing, the ring hero for this faction, Homerat, Lord of the South. He is a special, I guess he's technically a Nazgul. So anyway, he has 2 Palanches of abilities. So his passive is twofold. He grants a leadership and he debuffs enemies. So for his debuff, enemy infantry and cavalry lose 25% armor damage, and also they are afraid of him, so they'll cower when he's nearby. And then for his leadership, allied infantry and cavalry units gain 50% armor damage, experience gain, and then resistance to knockback, fear, and terror. So that's an incredibly powerful leadership, well worthy of a similar hero. He also goes up to level 20 like a Samurai hero does. Piercing Spear. So this is a paralyze. And it does a lot of damage. Let's move over here. At level 3, he gains kind of a quasi Blade Master. 50% damage, 20% speed, but if you're not in combat, excuse me, he actively regenerates health. So you can go into a fight and then come out of it, regen really quickly, and then again, then you can get back into the fight. Let's zoom in on him. Come on. Okay. So he's getting debuffed right now by Sauron because he's OP and debuffs heroes, but it's fine. We'll still make do. So I'll show off the spear ability real quick. Let's see. So obviously we're debuffed by 50%. So if we weren't debuffed, this would be significantly higher, like significantly higher. He gains level 6. He gains this ability called Shadow of Death. So. Excuse me. What this does is you activate this, and he will passively deal high amounts of continuous damage all around him. Let's go. So yeah. Obviously those are Dwarven Kaza Doom Vets, so they're exceptionally strong units, but yeah, look at that. Just like regular units though, he's basically killing them in 2 to 3 hits of the weapon. Yeah, so that's pretty powerful. Really powerful. Black Flame. This is kind of like the Balrog's Flame Breath ability, but it's got a different VFX. Oh, and that just insta kills Khazad-dûm vets. Nice. And his last ability, which is pretty epic in my opinion, is he summons this hero, this beast, the Great Phoenix. So by summoning it, it sets the ground on fire and it damages enemies. That's a pretty big radius too. That's way bigger than the area of the cursor. So the Great Phoenix got a lot of health, does a lot of damage. He gains 3 abilities, which are perfect for dealing with armies. So I believe this is the... Okay, so this is a Wing Blast ability, but it also sets the ground on fire underneath. So this is also really good against buildings. And then, yeah. The effects on this creature are really cool too. It's got like green and orange fire going for it. And the design is cool too. Yeah. So, yes. The other 2 abilities, this one is Incinerate. Same as Drogoth, breathes fire over an area. And then, like the Smaug ability, actually, like I think Drogoth has the ability, similar ability too. It summons a really powerful fireball. Yeah, look at that. And yeah, that's pretty much it for Harad. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I know it's been a long time, but as I said, the game got a severe update now, so if you're interested in trying it, I'll leave a link in the description down below to the Discord. Yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're not already. Comment down below if you what you want to see next, or what else you want to see, and peace out, guys. Have a good one.